Party was founded May 1st, 1776. And that's why in Soviet Union and all communist countries you have a great celebration on May Day. May Day was a symbol for, May Day was the celebration of the founding of the World Revolution Conspiracy in Germany, and then later on goes into France and to the
and I
French
hope they don't have to burn the city before the people see the real light of what's going on.
And so that's why our riot that happened here in Los Angeles happened on May 1st. It was all pre-arranged, pre-set up by this government, had nothing to do with the people in the area. I've talked to many of the black people in the area.
You say this government. You mean you're talking about by those who control this government?
Yeah, I'm talking about those who control this government, not the government itself, but those who are behind the scenes who control this government and decide what it will and will not do.
And control the black projects. The intelligence agency.
Are you able to zero in on exactly who these people are who are the government? The
invisible government. I mean, people talk about the invisible government.
Yeah.
I talk about it as an evilarchy.
Well, are you able to zero in on who these people are in the evilarchy?
Members of the Council on Foreign Relations. I'm not saying all members of the Council on Foreign Relations are illuminist. Members of the Trilateral Commission. Members of the Club of Rome. The
Bohemian
Skull and Bones
Society.
Fraternity.
Yes.
The Bohemian Society. Here's a group of presidents up there with black robes, like Klansmen, sitting around this huge bonfire at the Bohemian Grove, worshiping this giant owl.
Yeah, we have color pictures of the presidents of the United States, all living presidents today, and dressed in large black robes with pointed headdresses like the Ku Klux Klan, in front of a large open fire pit, a pit of fire. In the article that appeared said that it was after 12 midnight, all the American presidents line up on this altar and worship the owl. And they said the reason why the owl is used in their worship is because it is wise, because it is able to see things in the dark. There's a message there. The owl is wise because it sees things in the dark. And that's why the presidents and the heads of state and the heads of the government that we live under all meet at 1 o'clock or 12 o'clock at night to worship the owl.
And
this is history.
Yeah, but if you don't believe it, we will come back and do another show, and Jordan will pull out
all the pictures.
Yes, I want to see
and you can zero in on Gerald Ford, who has some sort of satanic shrine in his home, as I understand it, from inside sources. I had talked to one fellow at this was in Anaheim years ago, at Knott's Berry Farm, after a Billy James Hargis meeting, who had claimed to be a member of some witches' coven, and he'd mentioned 2 congressmen which were involved in satanic cults, and they were, I guess, warlocks. And I only remembered one, because he was the #1 congressman for the Republican Party, the House Minority Leader, Gerald Ford, then later the selected, non-elected president, who then selected the non-elected vice president, Nelson Rockefeller. So we had a president and vice president of the United States that were not elected by us, but selected by them. And if you take a look at the administrations of Ronald Reagan, who said that Jimmy Carter should be criticized, or he criticized Carter for having had 18 members of the Council on Foreign Relations and Trilateral Commission appointed to key positions in his administration. Ronald Reagan had in excess of 200. He is as phony as a $3 bill. And Ronald Reagan is not a right-winger, folks. He is a phony. He is a phony.
He was known in Hollywood as Red Ronnie.
Red Ronnie, yeah. Red Ronnie.
You've indicated that this conspiracy has some goal that they want to accomplish by the year 2000. I wonder if you could spell that out.
Now, I've done an article called Global 2000. There's a thing out there, and you've read it in Life magazine. You've seen the front cover of the NASA SETI program. I mean, you've seen the big picture from outer space, and they've talked about $100 million investment. $100 million to invest to find out whether there is extraterrestrial intelligence Well, they got something going here. You remember War of the Worlds?
The radio broadcaster?
Yes, by Orson Welles, 1939.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Well, we've got something else coming in. They're going to make the announcement that they have discovered extraterrestrial intelligence. And this will frighten the people of the world and say, oh my God, how can we deal with this as a nation? But we can only deal with it, as the United Nations. Yes, we're going to have the United Nations, a one-world government. Yeah, it's necessary, they're going to say. It's absolutely necessary. Why?
Tell me.
To defend ourselves from those little green men, from the aliens that are out there. They will make that announcement. And the whole program is phony. It's fixed. It's set up. And you're going to be the patsy unless you understand what's going down and who's doing what to whom.
And if you think that's far-fetched, just remember that the Soviet Union was put before us in our media, and our television, and our radio, and our newspapers as being an evil empire, a frightening, powerful, evil, militaristic empire.
Who can't even feed its own people.
And now today we find it's like the Wizard of Oz. He comes out from behind the curtain, we find out they've been starving all their life. They can't even grow enough potatoes to make vodka. They have to import the potatoes. They haven't even got a railroad track across their country. They're starving. They have always been starving. They're broke, and the only military materials they had is the stuff that we sent to them that we are not using anymore, shells of rockets, shells of planes, and it's just an evil empire on paper.
Right.
They're starving.
You asked about this Luciferian thing by the year 2000. I was concerned when they sent up the Galileo mission, because they sent up the Galileo mission to explore the planet Jupiter. That went up in 87 or so? Something like that. It's already gone. It's on its way, folks. It's going to Jupiter. It's going to reach the planet by 1995. It's going to circle the planet. Mm-hmm. And then by 1999, it's going to be drawn into the planet where it will simply explode. What does it have on it? It's got 49.25 pounds of plutonium, enough for, well, let's say 10 hydrogen bombs. What is the atmosphere of Jupiter made up of? Hydrogen. Now, this, if it were to be ignited, would give us a second sun.
Right.
And I thought, my God, the year 2000, a second sun. I said, where have I read that before? Something struck me. I said, wait a minute, Arthur C. Clarke, 2010, Odyssey 2. Went back to the last chapter. Guess what the last chapter's called? Lucifer Rising. And he talks about the ignition of the planet Jupiter by the year 2010. And he said at the very end of the book, you can read it, go to the library, pick it up, look at it. He said that the NASA space program was interested, Dr. Robert Jethro, I think it was, or Jethro, was interested in this particular thesis for the Galileo mission. So we're talking about a space exploration program that not only is going to go, it went up. That was in 1982. This was sent up 5 years later. It's already on its way. If that thing ignites, it would give us a dual solar system.
So what we're talking about is
and they
two
would
suns.
rename the planet from Jupiter to Lucifer.
Right.
And that's exactly what Arthur C. Clarke talks about in 2010. So we're talking about Lucifer 2000.
There'll be no more nighttime, so there'll be no more opportunity for crime at night. There will be more sun now because you have two suns now in our solar system.
And the increase of the growing system, like the Matanuska Valley north of Anchorage.
And this may sound
Alaska.
pretty far-fetched, but you had better look at the facts. The fact is that this thing is carrying plutonium. It's going to Jupiter, and they know what it's going to do when it does crash. So,
and this NASA SETE program could be used as a vehicle to frighten the people of the planet into surrendering their sovereignty and to accepting a one-world government. And we're talking about a group out here called the Federal Emergency Management Association,
right,
which came in mass when the riots took place. They create chaos,